Hi guys, Badman here, and tonight my video is going to be about survival backpack, and what I actually mean by that is a selection of items in your backpack that will help you during certain large mobile events. So, one of the things I want to say before I go too far into it is you might have noticed the thumbnail on this video is actually different to the ones that I normally use, because I do normally try to use large mobile images for the videos, so then when people see my videos they can quickly decide by looking at the picture if it's a video they want. Like if I'm doing a video about sheltering and stuff, I'll use a picture of the shelter so you can see that. However, because I've used different images tonight, please leave comments in the comment section, or if you're one of my members of the guild, please message me privately in the guild and tell me if you would prefer me to use the majority as large mobile pictures like I've been doing, or if you prefer this new style where it's kind of like more realistic approach pictures, just so then I know when I'm making these videos that I'm actually making stuff people actually want, rather than I presume that that's what you want. So, moving on to what the actual video itself, I'm gonna apologize because I originally was gonna design this video where I hadn't actually added any items into my backpack, on the basis of making sure that I'm not just posting videos going, this is what you need, and then the whole time I'm orchestrating what you need beforehand. So I wanted to show you that actually I do follow my own videos that I'm obviously showing you. So one of the items I have added into this, so I do apologise, but hopefully I will have the rest of the items in my video in my backpack to show you, and this isn't going to be an epic fail style video. All it comes down to is the fact that I had to record this video, and therefore I'd previously added the item in one of the earlier takes, but I won't add any more in. So we all know how to go into our backpack. So in our backpack, basically I'm going to start off by going into the shield section. There's two types of shields that I basically want to talk about. You've got the 4-hour shield. The 4-hour shields are really good if another guild is attacking your castle. Now ideally, if you shelter properly and you keep your resources quite low, you shouldn't need to use any 4-hour shields. However, sometimes some guilds will just come and they will just start burning people because they can. So having these 4-hour shields is quite handy for that. However, don't spend gems on them, and I wouldn't recommend spending guild coins on them, because if you're in a reasonably sized guild that does a lot of monster hunting, you generally pick up a collection of these shields along the way through the monster hunting. As you can see, I've got quite a large amount. The second item I want to talk about is a 24-hour shield. Now normally carrying 1-2 of these is probably sufficient. This was unfortunately the item I did actually pick up in the previous video, so I apologise about that. It isn't an item you need a lot of, because of the fact that a 24-hour shield, I personally only ever use them in the Kingdom versus Kingdom event, because the event lasts for 24 hours. So this is a great way to pop this on when you start the event, go over to the other kingdom, do your gathering if that's which way you're going to go, and this will protect you for the entire event. That's why having a 24-hour shield in your backpack is quite a handy aspect. Moving on, we go back to the unique items. We scroll down past all my rubbish, and then you go to a normal relocator, not a random one, but yet a normal one. Ideally, again, try to carry 2 of these. The reason why I say that is because if you do a kingdom versus kingdom event, when you come back from the other kingdom and the event's actually finished, you won't end up where you started, because the game tends to land you in a random place on your kingdom. So having at least one of these relocator scrolls for that reason is quite handy, so you can get back to your hive. The other reason why it says have two is so you've got a spare one, and if you decide at some point to change guilds, it's always pretty handy to have this relocating scroll, because one of the first things that the new guild will generally ask you is, do you have one of these scrolls? You say yes, then they give you the new hive location. So therefore, that is quite having one, two of those in your backpack is very handy for that reason. The other aspect I would say that is quite handy to have would be, if I just go down to it, at least one of these. And this is basically called a migration scroll. And unlike the random relocating scroll and the relocating scroll, a migration scroll actually lets you move entire kingdoms. Now, the reason why I say carry one of these around is because they're very expensive. They're about 840,000 coins, like guild coins. So guilds tend to not try and move kingdoms a lot, but it's always handy to have one of these in, because if your guild's gonna move, it takes a long time to save up the right kind of coins for this migration scroll. However, a tip for you is, if you haven't got one of these, the best time to buy one, if you have the coins, is to keep hold of the coins until Guildfest events, then activate the guild coin quest and buy your scroll then. Because then what you're doing is, A, you're getting points in your Guildfest, and B, you're getting the migration scroll that you actually need. So this is, again, at least one of these in your backpack at all times is an ideal item to have. The other and probably last item I would say that is kind of necessary is one of these. Now, you can get away with a 24-hour gathering boost if you'd like. However, I would recommend a 7-day gathering boost. The reason why is, if you activate the 7-day gathering boost just before the Kingdom versus Kingdom event starts, what happens is you have Kingdom versus Kingdom for a 24-hour period, and then you have Guildfest the Monday afterwards, because Kingdom versus Kingdom is always Saturday to Sunday, and then Guildfest is Monday to Sunday of the following week. So basically, by having a 7-day gathering boost, it will carry you right the way through Kingdom versus Kingdom and the majority of the way through Guildfest. So it gives you more time for usage. Now, again, you can pick these up for about 20,000 guild coins. So they're really handy to have in your backpack. So one of the things that I didn't mention that people might have noticed was I didn't mention things like 4-hour anti-scout. I personally try to not use anti-scouts because I currently reside in a bigger kingdom. In my experience, people that tend to use anti-scouts, the idea is to hide your troops. However, when dealing with bigger guilds and bigger castles, the truth is most people think that that's what you're doing is you're intentionally hiding somewhere, and they're more likely going to attack you because you're hiding behind one of these anti-scouts, rather than just kind of showing them that you've got no troops, you've got no res, so there's no reason to attack. where if you pop one of these up, they might go, oh, what are you hiding? So they're going to attack you because of it, you see. So I personally have not kind of incorporated that into my kind of like survival backpack. Apart from that, that is pretty much all I would say that a basic player would need in a way of surviving. So for now, all I could really say is, yeah, cheers, bye.